Welcome back to Midnight Archive Sleep. Tonight, close your eyes and let your breath grow slow and long. We are traveling far tonight, down the Silk Road, out of ancient Chang'an, across deserts and mountains, all the way to the sea. There is nowhere to be, only here, only sleep. Chang'an is waking slowly under a soft gray dawn. The great walls stretch further than you can see, and somewhere a gatekeeper lifts a heavy bar with tired, gentle hands. Breathe in slowly and let it go. The city is only just beginning to stir, just as your body begins to settle. Down in the market street, baskets are being set out one by one, lanterns dimming as the sky lightens. The scent of tea and warm bread drifts between the stalls. You do not need to walk quickly. Let your shoulders soften. There is no hurry here, and there is none in you. In a quiet courtyard, camels kneel patiently, while bolts of silk, soft and heavy, are laid across their backs. Their eyes are half closed, unhurried, the way yours are becoming now. Let your eyelids grow heavy too, matching the slow rhythm of hands tying rope, fold after gentle fold. A thin curl of incense rises near the gate, and someone murmurs a quiet blessing for safe travel. The caravan master checks the ropes one last time, unbothered, unhurried. You may let go of everything you were holding today. Nothing needs your attention now, only the soft dark behind your eyes. Somewhere ahead, a small bell begins to sway on a camel's harness, and then another, until the whole line moves in a soft, uneven chime. The gates of Chang'an open onto the road west. Let yourself sway with the camel's slow steps. We are leaving now, together, into sleep. The road curves gently through the outer gate, and for a moment the whole caravan is swallowed in cool shadow before emerging again into soft morning light. Chang'an spreads out around you, wide avenues, tiled roofs catching the first sun, and somewhere a rooster calls once and falls silent. You do not need to open your eyes fully. You can feel the city instead, the packed earth beneath slow hooves, the faint smell of wood smoke and jasmine, the murmur of 100 quiet conversations, not meant for you. Breathe in slowly and let it go, all the way down into your chest, into your shoulders, into the mattress beneath you. The caravan master rides near the front, unhurried, glancing back once to count the animals, then facing forward again with the patience of a man who has made this journey many times before. There is nothing you need to do here but rest inside the motion. Let the sway of the camel beneath you become the sway of your own breath, in and out, slow and long. The walls are behind you now, rising smaller in the soft haze, and ahead the road opens wide and pale gold, curving gently west, toward mountains you cannot yet see, toward sleep you are already halfway into. Just past the western gate, the market is fully awake now, though still gentle in its rhythm. Stalls of dried apricots and walnuts, jars of honey catching the light, bundles of cinnamon bark stacked like small quiet fires. A woman ties her tea into paper twists, unhurried, her fingers slow and practiced. The caravan pauses here, only briefly, to take on the last provisions before the long road begins in earnest. You can let your mind wander here without following it anywhere in particular. There is a boy carrying 2 baskets of dates on a pole across his shoulders, walking with a steady, swaying gait that matches the camel so closely it seems rehearsed. Let your own body grow heavy the way his baskets do, settled, balanced, unbothered by its own weight. Someone somewhere is boiling water for tea, and the steam rises in a soft, white curl that dissolves before it reaches very high. Let your thoughts dissolve the same way, one by one, before they reach very far. The caravan master nods to the last merchant, exchanges a few quiet words, and turns his camel gently west. There is no hurry in any of this, only slow steps, and warm light, and the good, tired feeling of a beginning. Behind the market, in a low stone workshop, the last bolts of silk are being wrapped in oiled paper and tied with soft cord. The weavers here have worked through the night, their looms finally falling silent one by one, and now they sit back, quiet, hands resting in their laps. The silk itself is the color of very pale honey, shot through with threads of blue and rose that only catch the light when it moves. You do not need to understand how it was made to feel the calm of this room, the settling dust, the smell of warm thread and oil, the soft creak of a loom cooling after long hours of motion. An old weaver runs her palm once across a finished bolt, satisfied, and nods to the young man waiting to carry it out to the camels. Let your hands rest the way hers do now, open, empty, asking nothing more of themselves tonight. There is a single window high in the wall, letting in a long, low beam of morning light full of drifting dust, slow and golden, in no hurry to fall. Watch it if you like, or let your eyes close instead. Either way, the silk is ready now, and so, perhaps, are you ready to be carried gently west, into rest? In the courtyard behind the workshop, the camels kneel low on folded legs, patient in a way that seems almost human. Two men work in practiced silence, lifting the wrapped bolts of silk and settling them evenly across each animal's back, checking the balance with a light press of the palm before moving to the next. The camel's breath comes slow and steady, small clouds in the cool morning air, and their large dark eyes stay half closed, as though they too are already dreaming of the road ahead. You can let your own breath match theirs now, slow, deep, unhurried, filling and emptying without effort. A bell is tied loosely to the lead camel's harness, silent for now, waiting for the first steps to wake it into sound. One of the men murmurs something low and soft to the animal beneath his hands, the way you might murmur to yourself just before sleep. There, almost ready, almost time. When the loading is finished, the camels rise one by one, unfolding slowly, first the back legs, then the front, swaying gently as they find their balance again. There is no rush in any of this, only the quiet, careful weight of goods and hours settling into place, ready to be carried far from here, toward sleep, toward the west, toward you. At the western gate, a thin curl of incense rises from a small brass burner, bending softly in the morning air before dissolving altogether. An old priest, unhurried, murmurs a blessing over the caravan, his voice low and steady, more rhythm than words, the kind of sound that asks nothing of the listener but presence. The caravan master bows his head briefly, accepting it the way you might accept a soft blanket being drawn up over your shoulders. Around him, the camels shift their weight from foot to foot, and somewhere a rope is checked one final time, then left alone, trusted. You do not need to follow the words of the blessing to feel its calm settle over you. Let it settle instead the way lamplight settles over a quiet room, evenly, without effort. A few travelers touch the gatepost gently as they pass beneath it, an old habit older than memory, a small private wish for safe roads and easy nights. The gate itself is wide and cool in shadow, its stones worn smooth by countless hands and countless journeys before this one. Beyond it, the road stretches out pale and endless in the morning light. There is nothing left to prepare now, only to step through, slowly, and let the road begin to carry you. The lead bell rings first, a single soft note as the front camel takes its first step beyond the gate, and then another bell answers it, and another, until the whole line of the caravan moves in a slow, uneven chime that seems to breathe with the animals themselves. You can let this sound wash over you now, not sharp, not sudden, but rounded and warm, the way a distant church bell feels through a thick wall. The city falls away behind, its rooftops and its walls growing smaller and softer in the pale morning haze, until they are only a suggestion of a place rather than a place at all. Ahead, the road opens onto flat farmland, green and quiet, rice paddies catching the sky's reflection in long silver strips. The caravan master does not look back again. There is only forward now, only the next soft mile, and the next, and the one after that. Let your own thoughts fall the same way behind you, smaller, softer, less urgent with every breath. The bells settle into a steady rhythm, almost a lullaby now, matching the sway of hooves on packed earth. You are leaving Chang'an behind, drifting gently west with the caravan, and drifting, just as gently, towards sleep. Days have passed gently, one folding into the next, the way water folds over a stone, and now the land begins to narrow. Tall, pale mountains rise on either side, their peaks dusted faintly with old snow even in the warmer months. And the road runs like a quiet ribbon between them. This is the Gansu corridor, the long, narrow throat of the empire, and the caravan moves through it slowly, unhurried, the way your breath moves slowly now, in and out, deep and even. The grass here is short and silver green, bending in a wind too gentle to be called wind at all, more like a long, slow exhale from the land itself. Somewhere a shepherd watches his flock from a low rise, still as a stone, in no hurry to move. The camels' bells have quieted to an occasional soft chime, spaced further apart now, as though even they have grown drowsy with the rhythm of the road. Let your own mind grow quiet the same way, thoughts spacing further apart, softer, until there is more silence between them than sound. The mountains keep watch on either side, patient, ancient, indifferent to the hour, and the caravan moves on beneath them, small and steady, carrying you gently toward whatever waits at the edge of the world. Every so often, a watchtower rises from a low hill, built of packed earth the color of dry honey, worn soft at its edges by centuries of wind. No one stands atop this one tonight, or if someone does, they are still, silent, watching the same slow road you are traveling now. These towers were built to guard the empire's furthest edge, a long chain of quiet sentinels stretching further than any single eye could follow. The caravan passes beneath without concern, the guards here long accustomed to merchants and silk and the soft creak of loaded camels. You can let the sight of each tower mark a small, gentle passage of time. One more mile behind you, one more slow breath taken and released. The light is beginning to lean toward evening now, gold turning to amber along the ridge lines, and long shadows stretch out from the towers like slow fingers pointing the way west. A hawk circles once above the nearest tower, unhurried, riding some current you cannot feel, and then drifts away out of sight. There is nothing urgent in any of this, only towers and shadows, and the soft, steady rhythm of hooves on the darkening road, carrying you closer, tower by tower, toward the edge of everything familiar and further into rest. As evening settles fully over the corridor, the caravan slows and begins to make camp beside a shallow stream, its water dark and quiet, reflecting the first faint stars. The animals are unloaded gently, one by one, their burdens set down with care, and for a while there is only the soft sound of water moving over stone and the low murmur of travelers settling in for the night. A fire is lit, small and careful, more for warmth and light than for cooking, and its flame bends and sways in a breeze so light it barely stirs the grass. You can watch the flame if you like, its slow orange breathing, in and out, matching your own. Someone unrolls a thick felt blanket and lies back against a saddle, sighing once, the whole day finally leaving their shoulders. The mountains above have turned a deep blue-black now, their snow faintly pale against the darkening sky, patient as they have always been. There is nowhere else to be tonight but here, beside the stream, beneath these old silent peaks. Let your body settle the way the caravan has settled, unloaded, unhurried, at rest. Tomorrow the road continues toward the Jade Gate, but tonight there is only this fire, this water, this soft and heavy quiet. Morning comes softly here, without urgency, the light rising gray, then pale gold along the tops of the mountains before it ever reaches the valley floor. The caravan gathers itself slowly, the way you might gather yourself from a long, warm sleep, unwilling to rush the transition. Ahead, the corridor begins to open, and somewhere in that opening waits human pass. The Jade Gate, the last true threshold of the empire before the road gives itself over entirely to distance. The camels rise, stretch their long necks, and fall into step almost without being asked, as though they, too, know they are close to something significant. You do not need to hurry toward it. Let it come to you instead, the way sleep comes, arriving on its own unhurried schedule no matter how you wait for it. The grass here grows sparser with every mile, the soil paler, drier, the mountains drawing back slightly as if making room for what lies beyond. A trader riding near you hums a low tune under his breath, more breath than melody, and it drifts back through the line like a soft current. Let that hum settle into you too, wordless, warm, a small companion sound for the road. The Jade Gate is close now, and beyond it, the whole wide world is waiting, patient, unbothered by time. The Jade Gate rises ahead at last, a modest structure of packed earth and old timber, far smaller than its legend suggests, and yet it carries an unmistakable weight in the quiet way the caravan slows before it. Beyond this point, the poets once said, there is no more spring, only distance, only wind, only the long pale road toward places whose names most travelers will never learn. A guard leans against the gatepost, unhurried, checking papers with a slow nod rather than any real scrutiny, more ritual than inspection. The caravan master exchanges a few quiet words, a small gesture of respect, and then the laid camel steps through, bell chiming once, softly, into whatever lies beyond. You can let yourself step through with it now, in your mind, leaving behind whatever borders and edges belong to your ordinary day. There is nothing waiting on the other side but open road and open sky, wide enough to hold every tired thought you release into it. The wind past the gate feels different somehow, drier, older, carrying the faint mineral scent of distant deserts not yet seen. Let your breath carry that same dryness, that same ancient patience, in and out, slow and unhurried. You have passed beyond the edge of the familiar world now, and sleep is closer than you think. Beyond the Jade Gate, the land opens into something almost too vast to hold in a single glance. Pale gravel plains stretching to a horizon that seems to bend gently at its farthest edge. The caravan looks small out here, a slow dark thread moving across an enormous pale cloth. And yet there is no fear in that smallness, only a quiet, settling calm. The same calm that comes from realizing how little, in the end, truly needs your attention. The sky above is beginning to deepen into evening, the last light draining slowly from gold to rose to a soft, bruised violet along the horizon. A few hardy shrubs dot the plain, silver gray, casting long, thin shadows that seem to stretch toward the coming night rather than away from it. You do not need to watch the horizon for what comes next. It will arrive whether you watch or not. The way sleep arrives, the way the first stars are already beginning to arrive, one at a time, soft and unannounced, above the darkening plain. The caravan moves on a while longer before making camp. Unhurried, the animal steps falling into a rhythm so steady, it becomes almost silent to the ear, felt more than heard. Let that same steadiness settle into your chest now, slow, even, carrying you gently onward, mile by soft mile, toward rest. After long days on the open plain, a smudge of green appears at last on the horizon, faint at first, then unmistakable. The Oasis of Dunhuang, where a hidden river feeds a ring of poplar trees and soft irrigated fields. The camels quicken their pace only slightly, sensing water long before any traveler could, and the caravan master allows himself a small, tired smile. You can feel that same relief now, the particular softness that comes when a long effort is finally allowed to end. The trees here rustle gently in a breeze carrying the mineral dryness of the desert, mixed with something greener, damper, more alive. Somewhere ahead, a bell rings from a small temple, unhurried, marking no particular hour, simply present, simply sound. Travelers ahead of you are already dismounting, leading their animals toward a wide, shallow pool, where the water sits calm and silver under the late afternoon light. Let your own body grow calm the same way, settling, and settling further. There is such a long history held quietly in this small green place. Merchants and monks and pilgrims for 1,000 years before you, all finding the same relief in the same gentle shade. Tonight you will rest here, safe, unhurried, before the caves and their painted lamplight welcome you further into stillness. In the town itself, low mud brick houses cluster loosely around courtyards shaded by fig and poplar, and the streets carry the calm, unbothered rhythm of a place that has always known travelers pass through and always will. A woman ladles water from a stone well for the caravan's animals. Unhurried, her movements practiced into something almost like music. You can let the sound of that water settle into you, cool and slow, pouring, pausing, pouring again. Somewhere a merchant sells dried melon and apricots from a low table, calling out gently to no one in particular, more habit than urgency. The caravan master finds a place to make camp near the edge of town, close enough to the well, far enough from the noise of the small market to allow real rest. Blankets are unrolled, fires are lit small and low, and for a while there is only the soft business of settling in. Leather straps loosened, sore shoulders rubbed, quiet gratitude exchanged in a few unhurried words. The evening light here turns gold then amber against the mud brick walls, warm and soft as candlelight. Let that same warmth settle over you now, gathering in your chest, your shoulders, the backs of your eyes. Tomorrow the caves are waiting nearby, painted and quiet, but tonight, this small oasis is enough. Not far from the oasis, a long, pale cliff rises from the desert floor, honeycombed with dark openings carved carefully over centuries by hands seeking nothing more than a quiet place to pray. This is the beginning of the caves of the 1,000 Buddhas, though no single traveler could ever count them all in one visit, and no one tonight is trying to. The caravan pauses here in the last hour of daylight, and a few travelers climb the worn steps toward the nearest openings, unhurried, respectful, the way you might approach something sacred and old. The cliff face glows a soft rose gold in the fading light, its shadows deepening into cool blue where the carved doorways wait, dark and inviting rather than forbidding. A monk descends the steps slowly, nodding once to the new arrivals, his robe the color of dust and dried apricot. You do not need to climb these steps yourself tonight. You can simply rest here at the base of the cliff, looking up at all that quiet devotion carved into stone, and let its stillness settle into you instead. There is something deeply calming in structures built slowly, patiently, over generations, never rushed, never urgent. Let that same patience become yours now, settling deeper, breath by breath, as the light fades gently behind the cliff. Inside one of the larger grottos, a small oil lamp has been lit, its flame steady and low, casting warm, moving light across walls painted centuries ago in soft ochre, deep blue, and old faded gold. Buddhas sit in long, painted rows, calm-faced, eyes half-closed exactly the way your own eyes are growing heavy now, their hands resting in gestures of peace repeated 1,000 times across the painted stone. The air in here is cool and still, carrying the faint smell of old incense and older dust, a smell that seems to hold centuries inside it rather than simply years. You do not need to understand the stories painted here to feel their calm. Let the colors themselves do the work instead. Soft ochre breathing into deep blue, blue settling into gold, gold fading gently into shadow near the ceiling where the lamp's light cannot quite reach. A single moth circles the flame once, then settles nearby, wings folding still. Somewhere further back in the cave, water drips slowly from stone, marking time in soft, unhurried intervals, a sound like a very slow, very patient clock. Let your own thoughts settle the way that moth settled, the way that lamp burns, steady, low, undemanding. This quiet painted room has waited 1,000 years for someone to simply sit still inside it. Tonight, that someone is you. As true evening falls outside the cave, a small group of monks gathers in a lower chamber for evening chant, their voices low, overlapping gently, more like breathing set to sound than singing in any performed sense. You do not need to know the words to feel the shape of them, rising and falling in slow waves, each phrase settling before the next begins. Lamps are lit along the chamber walls, one by one, until the whole space glows in a soft amber that seems to hold the sound inside it like a warm bowl holds water. The monks sit cross-legged, hands resting quietly in their laps, eyes closed or nearly closed, entirely undisturbed by the presence of travelers listening softly from the doorway. Let their stillness become a kind of instruction for your own body now. Shoulders soft, hands open, breath slow and unhurried, following the rise and fall of that distant chant, the way you might follow a tide. Outside, the desert night has turned the sky a deep, star-scattered blue. But in here, time moves differently, slower, rounder, kinder. The chant continues, unhurried, for as long as it needs to, and then fades naturally into silence, the way a thought fades when you stop holding on to it. Let yours fade the same way now, into this soft, lamp-lit quiet, into rest. Back outside, beneath the poplar trees, the caravan has settled fully into its camp for the night, small fires glowing low and orange between rolled blankets and resting animals. The sky above Dunhuang is extraordinarily clear, deep and vast, scattered with more stars than the eye can properly count, though there is no need to count them tonight. A light breeze moves through the poplar leaves, a soft, continuous whisper, steady as breathing, neither rising nor falling too much in any one moment. The camels lie folded on the ground nearby, breathing slow and even, utterly at ease, and you can let your own breath match that same unhurried rhythm now. Somewhere a low conversation continues between two travelers, their words indistinct, more tone than meaning, drifting in and out of hearing like a tide too gentle to disturb sleep. The oasis holds this whole small world gently, water and green and quiet firelight, cupped in the wide dry palm of the desert around it. There is nothing left to do tonight but rest here, safe, warm, unhurried. Let your eyelids grow heavy the way the stars grow brighter, slowly, naturally, without any effort at all. Tomorrow the desert itself begins in earnest, wide and silver and endless, but tonight, under these poplar leaves, there is only this deep and gentle quiet. In the deepest part of the night, the oasis grows almost entirely silent. The fires burn down to soft embers, the conversations long since faded into breathing. You can feel that same silence settling over you now, layer by gentle layer, the way sand settles slowly at the bottom of still water. Tomorrow the caravan turns toward the Taklamakan, the great desert whose name is sometimes said to mean the place you go in but do not come out of. Though tonight that seems like nothing more than an old story, distant and unthreatening. For now, there is only this oasis, this shade, this water, holding you gently before the harder miles begin. A single lamp still burns faintly near the cave entrance on the cliff above, a small steady point of gold in the vast dark, patient, undemanding, asking nothing of you but rest. The poplar leaves have quieted their whisper to almost nothing, and even the river seems to move more slowly now, thick and dark and unhurried under the starlight. Let your whole body settle the way this whole small world has settled, safe, complete, at peace. Whatever waits beyond the desert can wait a little longer. Tonight there is only this soft, deep oasis quiet, holding you exactly where you are, exactly as heavy and slow as you need to be. The oasis falls behind slowly, its green fading into pale gold and then into the endless silver white of true desert, dune after dune, rolling out toward a horizon that seems to have no particular interest in ever arriving. This is the Taklamakan, vast and quiet, and the caravan enters it the way a swimmer enters cool water, carefully at first, then with growing ease. The light is beginning to lower now, the sun sitting low and heavy and orange above the dunes, casting long blue shadows into every hollow and crest. The sand here holds the day's warmth a while longer, even as the air begins to cool. And you can feel that same warmth settling into your own limbs now. Heavy, comfortable, unhurried. The camels move with a particular steadiness in sand like this. Their wide, soft feet built exactly for this ground. Never stumbling, never rushing. There is a strange, deep silence out here, broken only by the soft shift of sand beneath each footstep. A sound almost too quiet to notice unless you are listening for it the way you might listen for your own breathing just before sleep. Let that silence hold you now. There is nowhere else to be. No other sound required. Only dunes and dusk and the caravan moving softly on. By full dark, the moon has risen high and pale above the dunes, and the whole desert seems to change color beneath it, sand turning from gold to a soft, cool silver that stretches in every direction as far as the eye can follow. The dunes themselves ripple like something almost liquid, frozen mid-motion, their crests catching moonlight while their hollows fill with deep blue shadow. The caravan moves slowly through this silver landscape, small and dark against so much pale, open space. And there is something deeply peaceful in that smallness. The same peace that comes from realizing how safely held you are inside something so much larger than yourself. The air has cooled considerably now, crisp and clean, carrying no scent at all beyond a faint, ancient mineral dryness that feels older than any memory. You do not need to watch the dunes shift and change to feel calmed by them. Let their stillness settle into you instead. Dune by silver dune, the way stillness settles over a lake at night. Somewhere ahead, the caravan master signals a stop for the night, and the camels begin to kneel, one by one, folding down into the cool sand with soft, tired sighs. Let your own body fold the same way now, slow, heavy, safe, ready to rest beneath this vast silver sky. With the fires not yet lit, the sky above the Taklamakan reveals itself completely, thick with stars in numbers that seem almost impossible. Layer upon layer of soft light scattered from horizon to horizon without a single cloud or city glow to dim them. You can let your eyes rest gently upward now, unfocused, taking in the whole wide arc of it rather than searching for any single point. A faint pale band of light runs across the deepest part of the sky, the soft dust of countless stars too distant and numerous to see individually, more suggestion than shape. The desert floor holds a kind of hush beneath all this light, as though the whole landscape is listening quietly to something too vast for sound. One of the travelers lies back against a rolled blanket, hands folded over his chest, simply watching, in no hurry to close his eyes, though sleep is clearly close behind them. You can lie back the same way now, in your own bed, beneath your own version of this endless sky. There is nothing you need to find up there, no shape, no meaning, only light, soft and old and patient, drifting down across the dunes and settling gently over you, star by quiet star, until your own eyes finally close. A small fire has been lit at last in a shallow hollow between two dunes, sheltered from what little wind moves across the desert at night, and its flame burns low and orange, more ember than blaze. A few travelers sit close around it, not speaking much, content simply to watch the fire do its slow, steady work, curling and uncurling, breathing in its own small rhythm. Someone has set a blackened kettle near the coals, and the faint smell of tea begins to rise, warm and slightly bitter, mixing with the cool mineral scent of the sand around it. You can let that smell settle into you now, warm at the back of your throat, the particular comfort of something hot shared quietly among people who trust each other enough not to talk. The fire throws soft moving light against the nearest dune, painting it gold and orange where the desert beyond stays cool and silver under the moon. A camel shifts its weight nearby, sighs once, and settles again into stillness. There is nothing more required of anyone here tonight. No task left unfinished, no road left to travel until morning. Let your own body settle the same way, unburdened, warm, safe within this small circle of firelight surrounded by so much dark, quiet distance. The fire has burned down further now, and the small camp has grown quiet. Most travelers already lying still beneath thick felt blankets, breathing slow and even in the cool night air. The camels rest nearby in a loose circle, folded low against the sand. They're breathing deep and unhurried, occasionally punctuated by a soft, low sound, almost like a sigh. Somewhere out among the dunes, a faint wind moves sand in a long, quiet hiss, rising and falling so gently it becomes almost a kind of music, a lullaby with no melody at all, beyond simple, steady motion. You can let that sound wash over you now, soft grains sliding over softer grains, the desert breathing in its sleep, just as you are beginning to breathe in yours. Occasionally, very far off, something small moves across the sand. A fox, perhaps, or only the wind imagining one. And then all is still again. The stars have shifted slightly overhead, marking the slow passage of night without any urgency at all. There is no danger here, no hurry, only distance and darkness and the steady, patient company of the caravan around you. Let every sound settle you further, deeper, heavier. The wind, the sand, the slow breath of resting camels, carrying you gently toward complete and total sleep. By the deepest part of the night, the fire has faded entirely to ash and quiet warmth, and the whole camp lies still beneath a sky so full of stars it seems to press down gently rather than stretch away. Every traveler has found their own particular stillness now, blankets pulled close, breathing slow, faces softened entirely out of the day's small worries. The dunes around the camp hold their silver color even in near darkness, patient shapes that will still be here, unchanged when morning eventually comes. You can let yourself sink into this same stillness now, deeper than before, deeper than you thought you could go, held by the same vast, quiet desert that holds this whole sleeping caravan. There is nothing left tonight that needs deciding, nothing left that needs carrying. The camels lie utterly still, and the sand holds no footprints yet beyond the ones already made, smooth and undisturbed under starlight. Somewhere far above, a single star seems to pulse very slowly, though it is only your own eyes growing heavier, slower, closer to closing completely. Let them close now, all the way the desert itself seems to close around this small sleeping camp, safe, silent, complete. Tomorrow the road continues toward the mountains, but tonight there is only this deep and total rest. Days beyond the desert, the land begins to rise, gently at first, then more steadily, the flat silver sand giving way to pale stone and low scrubby grass, clinging to slopes that grow taller with every passing mile. Ahead, the Pamir mountains stand in the distance, their peaks a soft, hazy blue-white, high enough to hold snow through every season of the year. The caravan's pace slows naturally here, unhurried, matching the thinner air and steeper ground. And you can let your own breath slow the same way now, deeper, fuller, taking a little more time with each inhale. The camels pick their way carefully over loose stone, sure-footed despite the unfamiliar incline, and the travelers walk beside them more often now, resting the animal's burden where the path grows narrow. A cold, clean wind moves down from somewhere high above, carrying the mineral smell of rock and old snow, entirely different from the dry warmth of the desert behind you. Let that cool air settle into your chest now, clean and simple, clearing away whatever small heaviness remains from the miles already traveled. The mountains ahead do not seem hurried or urgent despite their scale. They have stood exactly like this for longer than any memory can reach, and they will wait, patiently, for the caravan to climb toward them at its own unhurried pace. At last, the caravan reaches a wide, high plateau the old travelers call the roof of the world, a place so elevated that the sky itself seems closer, larger, more deeply blue than anywhere else along the road. The air up here is thin and cold and remarkably clear, carrying sound strangely far, so that the soft chime of a distant camel bell seems to arrive almost before it is rung. You can let your breath grow slow and careful here too, matching the thinner air, taking in a little less each time but resting a little longer between each breath. Snow lies in soft patches across the higher slopes even now, untouched, undisturbed, holding the pale blue shadow of the mountains within it. The caravan pauses here to rest the animals fully, unhurried, and a few travelers simply sit facing the wide-open view, saying nothing, needing to say nothing. There is a stillness at this height that feels almost like the stillness just before sleep, a hush that asks nothing more of you than to be present inside it. Let that same hush settle over you now, layer by careful layer, thinning your thoughts the way the air itself has thinned, until there is only a wide, calm, quiet space left where your worries used to be. The road begins its long, gentle descent from the high plateau now, the thin cold air slowly softening back into something warmer, thicker, kinder to tired lungs. Ahead, far below, a wide green valley opens between the mountains, threaded with irrigation channels and dotted with poplar trees, and somewhere within that green lies Kashgar, an old crossroads city where roads from every direction seem to meet and rest together. The camels move more easily on this downward slope, their steps quickening only slightly, sensing perhaps the promise of water and shade waiting below. You can let your own body loosen the same way now, the careful tension of the climb slowly releasing from your shoulders, your jaw, the small muscles around your eyes. The light here has turned a soft, late afternoon gold, catching on distant rooftops and minarets just visible at this distance, small pale shapes rising gently from the green. A shepherd's flock crosses the road ahead, unhurried, and the caravan waits patiently for them to pass. No impatience anywhere in the gesture. There is something deeply comforting in returning to lower ground after time spent high and thin, the way a long breath held gently is finally, slowly released. Let that release move through you now, all the way down, all the way toward rest. Inside Kashgar's wide market square, tables are stacked with pale green and golden melons, some cut open to reveal deep orange or pale jade flesh, glistening faintly in the afternoon light. Merchants call out gently, more invitation than urgency, offering slices to passing travelers who accept them without breaking their unhurried stride. You can imagine the sweetness of that fruit, now. Cool and simple. The particular relief of something fresh after long dry miles. The caravan pauses here fully, animals tethered loosely in whatever shade the market stalls provide. And for a while, there is nothing to do but wander slowly between the tables, sampling, resting, letting the day soften around you. A boy stacks melons into a careful pyramid, unhurried, adjusting each one twice before he is satisfied, no urgency in his small, careful task. Somewhere nearby, someone plays a simple stringed instrument, more atmosphere than performance, its notes drifting easily over the market's low hum of voices. Let that music settle into you now, soft and unresolved, needing no particular ending. The light here is warm and gold, gentling every edge of the square, every fold of cloth, every curve of fruit. There is nowhere else you need to be this afternoon. Only this market, this sweetness, this slow and easy rest before evening comes. Further along the market, carpets hang from wooden frames in deep reds and blues, their patterns intricate and old, each one carrying the slow, careful work of many patient hands. A merchant runs his palm across one gently, unhurried, more admiration than sale, letting the wool's texture speak for itself rather than his words. Nearby, a baker pulls flat, warm bread from a clay oven sunk into the ground, and the smell of it drifts across the whole square, yeasty and simple and deeply comforting. You can let that smell settle into you now, warm at the back of your throat, the particular comfort of bread fresh enough to still be steaming faintly in the cooling air. Travelers gather near the oven without needing to be invited, breaking pieces of bread with their hands, sharing without much conversation, content simply to eat slowly together. The carpets sway gently on their frames in the evening breeze, their colors deepening as the light softens toward dusk. There is a quality to this market that feels less like commerce and more like a shared, unhurried pause. Everyone here simply passing through the same soft hour together. Let yourself pause here too. Unhurried, warm, fed, resting inside this gentle crossroads before the caravan moves on again toward evening rest. As evening settles fully over Kashgar, the caravan finds shelter in a wide courtyard near the edge of the city. Walls of pale mud bricks still warm from the day's sun, holding that warmth gently into the cooling night. The camels are unloaded and fed, kneeling low in loose rows, breathing slow and content after a full day's rest. Lanterns are lit one by one along the courtyard's edges, their light soft and amber, gathering the whole space into a warm, contained glow separate from the wide, dark night beyond the walls. You can let that same warmth gather around you now, contained, safe, held gently apart from anything that might otherwise feel too large or too distant. A few travelers talk quietly near one lantern, their voices low, unhurried, more comfort than conversation, drifting occasionally into long, comfortable silences. Somewhere beyond the courtyard wall, the market has grown quiet too, its carpets folded away, its ovens banked low for the night. The mountains you crossed today are only a soft dark shape now against the darker sky, distant and calm, already receding into memory. There is nothing left to do tonight but rest here, warm, fed, safe within these old mud brick walls. Let your eyes grow heavy the way the lanterns are growing dim, slowly, gently, one by one, towards sleep. Many slow days later, the road begins to soften into greener country, orchards and vineyards spreading across gentle hills. And somewhere ahead, catching the last low light of afternoon, the first turquoise domes of Samarkand rise into view. They seem almost to glow, that particular blue-green tile catching the sun in a way that feels warmer than cold, more like deep water lit from within than simple stone and glaze. The caravan's pace does not quicken, exactly, but there is a settling ease in the animal's gait, the sense of a long journey nearing one of its great, quiet landmarks. You can let that same ease settle into you now, unhurried, a gentle anticipation rather than any kind of urgency. Poplar-lined roads lead toward the city, their long, thin shadows striping the pale dust in slow, even bands. Somewhere a bell tower marks a distant hour, its sound rounded and soft by the time it reaches you, more suggestion than command. The domes grow larger and more numerous the closer you come, blue and turquoise and pale gold, rising above walls the color of warm sand. There is a whole city waiting here to hold you gently for the night, courtyards and fountains and cool shaded rooms, and you are almost there. Inside the city, a wide open square opens before you, framed on three sides by tall archways and towering domes tiled in intricate blue and gold patterns, geometric and endless, the kind of pattern that seems to have no beginning and no particular end. This is the Registan, and at dusk, the tile work catches the day's last light in a way that seems to hold it a little longer than the sky itself does, glowing faintly blue-gold even as the air around it cools toward evening. Few travelers move through the square at this hour, and their footsteps echo softly against the old stone, unhurried, respectful of the quiet. You do not need to study every pattern on every dome to feel calmed by them. Let the shapes simply exist around you instead, repeating, gentle, endlessly patient, the way a familiar lullaby repeats without ever growing tiresome. A soft breeze moves through the archways, carrying the faint scent of jasmine from some unseen garden nearby. The domes themselves seem to hold the whole sky's fading color a while longer, deep blue folding into violet, into the first true dark. There is nothing more required of you here than to stand quietly and let this old beautiful stillness settle into your chest, breath by breath, until it feels like your own. Beyond the square, the caravan finds rest inside a quiet courtyard, its walls tiled in soft blue and white, a small fountain trickling gently at its center. The waters sound low and constant, neither rising nor falling in any particular hurry. The air here feels several degrees cooler than the street outside, held that way deliberately by thick old walls and a canopy of grapevines trained overhead. You can let that coolness settle over you now, easing whatever warmth or tension the day has gathered in your shoulders. Travelers rest along low benches around the courtyard's edge, some already half asleep, lulled easily by the fountain's steady, unhurried trickle. The water catches faint light from a few small lanterns, rippling gently, silver and quiet, asking nothing of anyone who watches it. Somewhere nearby, a caged bird makes a single soft call and then falls silent again, content. The grapevines overhead rustle only slightly, their leaves catching the last of the evening breeze before it, too, settles into stillness. There is nothing hurried about this courtyard, nothing urgent in its fountain or its shade, or its cool tiled walls. Let your whole body settle the same way now, breath by breath, matching the fountain's slow trickle, until you feel as calm and as unhurried as the water itself. A short walk from the courtyard, walled gardens open onto rows of fruit trees, apricot and pomegranate, their branches heavy in season, their leaves rustling softly in the cooling evening air. Narrow channels of water run between the beds, feeding the roots below in a slow, constant, unhurried flow that has continued, largely unchanged, for centuries before tonight. You can let the sound of that water guide your breath now, matching its calm, steady movement, in and out, without effort. Lanterns hang low among some of the branches, their light soft and warm, catching the undersides of leaves in gentle gold. A gardener moves slowly between the rows, checking each channel with an unhurried, practiced eye, needing no urgency for work this familiar. The evening has turned fully now, the sky above the garden walls deepening into a rich, star-scattered blue, and the last warmth of the day lingers pleasantly in the still air beneath the trees. There is a particular peace in gardens, tended slowly, patiently, by hands that expect the work to continue long after they themselves have rested. Let that same patience settle into you now, unhurried, complete, needing nothing more from this moment than to simply exist inside it a while longer, breath by breath, leaf by leaf, toward sleep. A few slow days further, the caravan reaches Bukhara, its narrow lanes winding between tall mud brick walls that lean gently inward, offering shade even at midday and deep, cool shadow by evening. A tall minaret rises above the rooftops, pale and slender, catching the last of the day's light along its upper edge while its base already rests in soft blue shadow. The lanes here twist unpredictably, and yet there is no need to know your way through them exactly. You can simply follow the caravan's slow, familiar rhythm, trusting the path the way you trust your own breath to continue without your direction. Small doorways open occasionally onto hidden courtyards, brief glimpses of fountains or fruit trees, or a woman hanging soft cloth to dry in the last warm air. Somewhere, unseen, a call to evening prayer begins, low and rounded, drifting gently over the rooftops without urgency, more invitation than command. The caravan slows further here, animals and travelers alike settling into the particular ease that comes near the end of a long day's travel. Let that same ease settle into you now, unhurried, safe, wrapped in these cool narrow lanes the way a blanket wraps gently around tired shoulders. Bukhara holds you now, quiet and old, ready to offer its own soft evening rest. By full evening, Bukhara has settled into a deep and gentle hush, its lanes emptying slowly, its lanterns lit one by one along walls the color of warm sand. The caravan rests now in a quiet courtyard near the old city's edge, camels folded low, breathing slow, and travelers gathered loosely around a low table set with tea and soft flatbread. You can let this same hush settle over you now, layer by layer, the way dusk settles gradually over a whole city rather than arriving all at once. Somewhere, very faintly, a stringed instrument plays a slow, unresolved melody, drifting from an unseen window, more felt than heard. The minaret outside stands pale against the deepening sky, patient, unlit, waiting for its own quiet turn at dawn. A cup of tea is poured, steam rising softly in the cooling air, and the traveler holding it does not drink right away, content simply to hold its warmth a moment longer. Let yourself hold that same warmth now, unhurried, needing nothing more from this evening than to simply exist inside its quiet. The whole city seems to exhale together at this hour, walls and lanterns and travelers alike settling into the same soft, unhurried rest. There is nowhere further to go tonight. Only this hush, this warmth, this deep and gentle Bukhara evening. Days beyond Bukhara, the land grows drier again, pale scrubland stretching toward a horizon softened by heat haze, and the caravan moves steadily on, unhurried, toward the old oasis city of Merv. Long before the city itself appears, a caravanserai rises from the flat land ahead, its thick walls built specifically for travelers like this one, offering shelter, water, and rest after long dry miles. You can let the sight of those walls settle into you now, the particular relief of knowing rest is close, even before you have fully arrived. The building's outer walls are plain and sturdy, sand-colored, blending almost entirely into the landscape around them, but its gate stands open, welcoming, unguarded by anything more than habit and trust. Camels ahead of you quicken slightly, sensing water within, and the caravan master allows a small, tired smile, the particular satisfaction of a long day nearly finished. The light has turned deep gold now, late afternoon settling toward evening, catching the walls in warm, even color. There is nothing more required of you than to keep moving at this same slow, steady pace, breath matching hoofbeat matching breath, until the gate is close enough to pass through, and rest at last is close enough to hold. Inside the caravanserai's wide central courtyard, animals are unloaded and settled into stalls, built specifically for this purpose, and travelers gather beneath a covered gallery where lamps have already been lit against the gathering dusk. A low table is set with a simple pot of tea, poured carefully into small cups, steam curling upward into the cooling evening air. You can let that steam rise in your mind now, soft and slow, dissolving gently before it climbs very high, the way a tired thought dissolves once you stop holding on to it. The lamplight here is warm and low, gathering the whole gallery into a small circle of gold separate from the wide, darkening courtyard beyond. Someone passes a plate of dried fruit and flatbread, unhurried, more habit than hospitality, exactly the kind of quiet kindness travelers offer each other without needing thanks. The tea itself is strong and slightly bitter, softened with a little honey, warm all the way down. Let that warmth settle into your chest now, spreading slowly, easing whatever tightness the day's travel left behind. Outside the gallery, the courtyard has grown mostly quiet, animals resting, footsteps fading. There is nothing left to do tonight but sit here, warm cup in hand, lamplight low and steady, drifting gently toward rest. As the evening deepens, a few travelers linger near the lamps, their conversation low and unhurried, more murmur than discussion, the kind of talk that exists mostly to keep quiet company rather than to reach any particular point. One speaks softly of a market far behind, another of a family waiting somewhere far ahead, and the words drift together easily, overlapping without urgency, like small waves arriving gently on a calm shore. You do not need to follow every word to feel comforted by the sound of them. Let the voices blur together instead, warm and low, indistinct, the way voices sound from another room just before you fall fully asleep. Someone laughs quietly at something too soft to catch, and the sound rounds off gently into silence rather than fading abruptly. The lamps burn a little lower now, their flames settling into a steady, undemanding glow. A cool night breeze moves briefly through the gallery, carrying the courtyard's mixed scent of animals, tea, and old stone, and then settles again into stillness. There is nowhere else these travelers need to be tonight, and nowhere else you need to be either. Let their quiet talk become a kind of lullaby now, wordless in meaning but full of warmth, carrying you gently, gently, toward your own deep rest. Beyond Merv, the road continues into the wide Persian Plateau, a landscape of gentle rolling hills and long open valleys, pale gold in the midday sun and soft violet blue in early evening shadow. Villages appear occasionally along the way, low clusters of flat-roofed houses surrounded by orchards, and the caravan passes through them slowly, unhurried, welcomed by the same quiet nods and small kindnesses offered at every stop along this ancient road. You can let this steady, familiar rhythm settle into you now, one gentle village after another, one soft valley after another, each one slightly different and yet somehow the same in its calm. The air here carries a faint scent of dust and dried herbs, thyme and something like sage, warmed by the sun and released slowly as evening approaches. A shepherd's flock moves across a distant hillside, small and pale against the darkening grass, unhurried, following some old familiar path of its own. The caravan makes camp again as the sky deepens, tents and blankets settling into place with practiced ease, fires lit low and steady. There is a particular comfort in landscapes this gentle, hills that rise and fall without any harsh edge, valleys that hold warmth long after the sun has gone. Let that same gentle rhythm settle into your own body now, rising and falling, breath by soft breath. Near one of the larger villages, the caravan is offered rest inside a walled garden, its paths shaded by tall cypress trees, its center held by a long narrow pool reflecting the deepening evening sky. Roses grow along low borders, their scent mixing gently with the cooler night air beginning to settle in. You can let that scent drift through your thoughts now, soft and floral, undemanding, the kind of smell that asks nothing more of you than to notice it briefly and let it pass. The pool's still water holds the first stars as they begin to appear, small points of light trembling faintly whenever the lightest breeze moves across its surface. Travelers rest along stone benches beneath the cypress trees, some already drifting towards sleep, lulled by the garden's particular hush. A gardener's lantern moves slowly along one far path, checking the roses, unhurried, needing no urgency for work this familiar and this calm. The cypress trees stand tall and still, dark green-black against the darkening sky, patient guardians of this quiet space. There is nothing left to accomplish in a garden like this one. Only rest, only stillness, only the soft, reflected light of stars settling gently on quiet water. Let that same stillness settle over you now, complete, unhurried, carrying you towards sleep. Later, back within the caravanserai's thick, sheltering walls, the whole camp has settled fully into sleep. Lamps burn down to soft embers, voices long since faded into slow, even breathing. You can feel that same completeness now, the particular heaviness that comes after a long day, fully, gently spent. The courtyard outside lies still under starlight, animals resting in loose, contented rows, their breath rising in small pale clouds against the cool night air. Somewhere, very faintly, a nightbird calls once, then falls silent, undisturbed by anything nearby. The thick walls of the caravanserai hold the whole camp safely apart from the wide, dark plateau beyond, the way a warm blanket holds you apart from the cool air of a bedroom at night. There is nothing left tonight that needs deciding, nothing left that needs carrying. Only this deep and total rest, held gently within old sheltering walls built exactly for this purpose, generation after generation, traveler after traveler. Let your own body settle the same way now, heavy, warm, complete, safe within your own walls, your own blankets, your own quiet dark. Tomorrow the road continues west, toward Baghdad, toward the sea. But tonight there is only this, deep, unhurried, caravanserai sleep, wrapping around you exactly the way it wraps around every tired traveler resting here tonight. Morning comes slow and soft over the caravanserai, and the caravan gathers itself one final time for the long stretch that remains, west across the last of Persia and down into the wide river plains of Mesopotamia. The land begins to change gradually as the days pass. hills softening into flatter ground, the air growing warmer and thicker, carrying a faint green mineral scent long before any river becomes visible. You can let this slow transition settle into you now, one gentle shift after another. Nothing sudden, nothing urgent, only the steady unfolding of new ground beneath old familiar rhythms. The camels move easily on this flatter terrain, their pace settling into something almost meditative, step after even step, bell after soft bell. Date palms begin to appear along the horizon in scattered clusters, their dark green fronds a welcome contrast against the pale surrounding land. Somewhere ahead, unseen but felt in the thickening air, two great rivers wait to guide the last stretch of this long journey toward its final cities. There is nothing to rush toward here. Let your own pace stay slow, unhurried, matching the caravan's patient progress across this gentle, changing land, mile after soft mile, breath after soft breath, carrying you closer to rest with every step. At last, the caravan reaches Baghdad, a wide and busy city built in careful circles around its center, where scholars gather even at this late hour beneath lamplight in the House of Wisdom, copying texts, exchanging ideas that have traveled nearly as far as the silk now being unloaded nearby. Paper, itself once a secret carried slowly out of the east, rests here in neat stacked reams, and jars of tea leaves sit beside bolts of silk in a merchant's quiet storeroom, each one a small piece of the long road you have traveled together. You can let yourself imagine all of it settling here now, ideas and goods alike, gathered gently from 1,000 miles of patient travel. The city's lamps burn steadily along wide streets, their light warm and even, and somewhere a scholar reads aloud in a low, unhurried voice to a small circle of quiet listeners. The caravan rests near the river's edge, animals finally, fully unloaded, their long work nearly finished. There is a particular satisfaction in watching a journey's goods finally reach their purpose. Silk becoming a garment, paper becoming a page, tea becoming a shared quiet cup somewhere new. Let that same satisfaction settle into you now, complete, unhurried, the good tired feeling of something long carried finally, gently, set down. South of the city, the caravan follows the river's edge for a while, the water wide and slow and brown gold in the late afternoon light, reeds swaying gently along its banks in a breeze too soft to call wind. Small boats drift past, unhurried, their occupants exchanging quiet nods with the travelers on shore. Two different kinds of journey briefly sharing the same calm stretch of water. You can let the river's slow movement guide your breath now, matching its unhurried current, in and out, without effort or urgency. Date palms lean gently over the water in places, their fronds trailing shadows across the surface, and somewhere a heron stands motionless in the shallows, patient, unbothered by the passing caravan. The air here is warm and thick and green-scented, entirely different from the dry mineral plains crossed so many days before. A few travelers dip their hands into the cool water as they pass, more ritual than necessity, a small private gesture of gratitude for water this abundant after such a long, dry road. The caravan makes camp near the riverbank as evening settles, tents pitched in the shade of tall palms, fires lit low against the gathering dusk. Let that same gratitude settle into you now, warm and simple, resting here beside slow water, beside soft light, beside rest. Beyond the rivers, the land begins its final long transformation. Flat plains giving way gradually to low green hills, olive trees appearing first in scattered clusters, and then in wide terraced groves, climbing gently up every slope. The air here feels different again, softer, carrying a faint hint of salt long before any sea becomes visible, as though the whole landscape already senses what waits ahead. You can let that same anticipation settle into you now, gentle rather than urgent, the quiet certainty of rest finally, truly drawing near. The caravan moves through small stone villages built into the hillsides, their walls pale and sun-warmed, their courtyards shaded by fig and olive alike. Travelers offer quiet greetings as the caravan passes, some in languages heard nowhere else along this whole long road. And yet the tone of welcome remains exactly the same as it did in Chang'an, in Kashgar, in Bukhara. Unhurried, generous, entirely unbothered by distance or difference. The evening light here turns a particular soft rose gold, catching on olive leaves and pale stone alike, gentling every edge of the landscape. Let that same softness settle over you now, easing whatever remains of the journey's long effort, breath by breath, hill by gentle hill, carrying you closer to the sea, closer to rest, closer to the end of this long and peaceful road. And then, quite suddenly, and yet somehow exactly on time, the land simply ends, and the sea begins, wide, pale, endless, catching the last low light of evening in long silver ripples that stretch all the way to a horizon soft with haze. The caravan slows here without needing to be told, animals and travelers alike drawn toward the shoreline by something older than instruction, some deep recognition that a very long journey has finally, gently arrived. You can let that same recognition settle into you now, complete, unhurried, the particular peace that comes only at the true end of a long road. Gulls move slowly along the shore, unbothered by the caravan's arrival, and small waves arrive in slow, even rhythm against the pale sand, over and over, patient, unchanging. The air here smells of salt and something faintly sweet, entirely new after so many months of dust and dry mountain wind. Somewhere behind you lies Chang'an and Dunhuang, and the silver dunes of the Taklamakan, and Samarkand's turquoise domes, and Bukhara's cool courtyards, all of it folded now into memory, softened, distant, complete. Ahead lies only the sea, wide and calm and endless. Let your whole body settle here now, at the very edge of everything, safe, finished, entirely at rest. At a small, quiet harbor along the coast, the caravan's long work finally comes to its gentle end. Bolts of silk are unloaded one final time, carried now onto wide wooden ships bound further west across the sea, toward markets that will never know the names of the hands that first wove that silk in a workshop near Chang'an. Alongside it travel other quiet gifts of this long road, paper and tea, and ideas carried more lightly than any bale of cloth, exchanged in caravanserais and gardens and lamplit rooms all along the way. You can let yourself imagine all of it now, spreading further still, carried on new winds toward new shores you will never see. The camels rest at last, fully unloaded, their long work finished, standing quiet and loose-limbed near the water's edge as though they, too, understand what has been accomplished. Sailors move unhurried along the wooden decks, securing ropes, calling softly to one another in the fading light. The caravan master watches it all with quiet satisfaction, the particular calm of a long task finally, completely done. There is nothing left to carry now, nothing left to load or unload or check. Let that same completeness settle into you now, total, unhurried, the good tired peace of a very long journey finally, gently finished. Tonight, the harbor lies quiet under a deep, star-scattered sky, ships resting gently at anchor, their sails folded, their long voyages not yet begun, waiting patiently the way you are waiting now for sleep to finally, fully arrive. The caravan makes its last camp here, close enough to hear the sea's slow, even breathing against the shore, wave after wave, patient and unhurried, needing nothing from anyone who listens. You have traveled a very long way tonight, out of Chang'an at dawn, across deserts and mountains, through painted caves and turquoise courtyards, all the way to this quiet Mediterranean shore. Every mile of it is behind you now, folded softly into memory, and there is nothing left to do, nothing left to carry, nothing left but rest. Let your whole body settle completely now, heavy, warm, safe, held gently by the same deep quiet that holds this whole small sleeping harbor. The stars above are the same stars that watched over the desert, over the mountains, over every gentle stop along this long and peaceful road, patient and unchanged, watching over you now too. There is nowhere else to be tonight, Only here. Only this soft, deep, contented rest. Close your eyes and let the whole long road finally rest with you. Good night.